Good evening. Oops. Good evening, everyone. Hang on one second. I have a sound issue. Okay, there I go. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Schenkel, and I am the Commissioner for ANC 2C01. I am the former chair of the ANC and will be opening tonight's meeting. I would like to call this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. So we're officially on the record. This is the first meeting of ANC 2C in our new term. And we have two new commissioners joining us. So I would like for our commissioners to please introduce themselves, if you could. For those of you who are in the room, you will push the little button next to the person speaker, and that's how you activate your mic. But we'll start with Nancy online. If you can go first, Nancy.
I'm excited. I wish I was behind the table with you all. I'm Nancy Groth. I'm the commissioner of 2CO2 SOMA, downtown south of Mass Ave.
I like that acronym. That is great. Welcome,
I
Nancy.
made it up and I'm making it a thing.
All right. Sounds great. And we'll go with Jim next.
Hello, my name is Jim Swart.
You might have to pull closer to you.
Okay.
There you go.
My name is Jim Swart and I represent 2C04. And I'll just show the audience here where that is. And if you want one of these, you may have it, but it basically covers 8th Street from 7th over to 11th up to K, and then 13th Street to Mass Avenue. So Mass Avenue is a real large area there, but I'm pleased to have been elected. I'm pleased to be in a position to represent some very nice people who live and work in our community in 2C04. So thank you very much.
Welcome, Jim. And Thomas?
And I'm the returning ANC commissioner. I'm sorry. Thank you. And I'm returning ANC commissioner for 2C03, which is Penn Quarter and the National Mall.
Terrific. And again, Michael Schenkel representing Penn Quarter and Chinatown. So thank you all so much for being here. We have 4 of 4 commissioners present this evening. So we have a quorum, and we will just quickly go through the agenda and approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Our agenda can be found on our website at anc2c.us. There's also agendas up here. For those of you who are in the room, you may feel free to take one of those agendas. And I will try to display. There we go. The agenda for you all online tonight. Our first item of business is the election of officers for the ANC, which is a requirement that we elect our officers for the new term. Officers are elected for 1 year, and there'll be another election next year for those positions. We have minutes to approve from both our November and December minutes. We have a treasurer's report and approval of QFR FY25 Q1 report. I would like to entertain a resolution tonight on acquiring a debit card for our PNC bank account. And we have some business items for the commissioners that we want to be sure are approved tonight as well. As far as community announcements, we will hear from our government agencies to start with this evening, followed by local events that impact the community. These are the events, we'll do this by consent, if the commissioners agree to that during the approval of the minutes. Consent means that we will do these as a group. We will not hear presentations from the various organizations, but we will just entertain them as a group, or the commissioners can choose to pull out one and consider separately. We do have one alcoholic beverage and cannabis administration license who will be before us. And we don't have any transportation or public space items this evening. For planning, zoning, environment, and historic preservation, we have 2 sign requests for the Chinatown Design Review Committee. And we do have 2 other items of business. The proposal of the bottle bill. This was a resolution that was brought to the ANC some months ago, and we had delayed making a decision on that, and we are putting that on our agenda this evening. And then we also have a grant application related to Thomas Elementary PTO. Thompson, thank you. Thompson Elementary PTO grant is our agenda, and I understand that item has been requested to be moved up on the agenda, and we'll put that right after the community announcements from the government agencies. Are there any other items, commissioners, for us to add to the agenda this evening?
I'd like to move approval of the agenda, but couldn't we bump Thompson Elementary up above the community announcements?
We can certainly do that. Is that your
So-
recommendation?
Yes, that's with my minor tweak. I move the adoption of the agenda.
Terrific. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Lee seconds. And all those in favor, if you could raise your hands. So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor. 4 of
4
4
of 4.
commissioners. Sorry, I'm new. I'm usually 3 of 3. Sorry. 4 of 4. Nancy is online too. Sorry about that.
We have abundance.
We have abundance, which is fantastic. So the agenda is approved for tonight's meeting. Our first item of business is the election of officers. Commissioners, have you thought of a position that you wish to acquire?
I nominate the ever gracious, ever patient Michael Schenkel to continue as chair of Commission 2C.
Second.
Okay, there is a motion for me to continue as chair and a second on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
So 3 commissioners voting in favor of that, 1 abstaining. That would be me from that position. So that currently carries. For vice chair,
I nominate Jim Swart for vice chair.
there is a motion on the floor to nominate Jim for vice chair. Is there a second?
Second,
Seconded by Nancy. All those in favor, please raise your hand or acknowledge. So 3 commissioners voting in favor of that, 1 abstaining.
Yes.
Okay, terrific.
I will nominate myself for secretary only because I really do not have extra time or bandwidth to be treasurer.
Got it. Well, I will second that in a heartbeat. So I second that. All those in favor, if you could raise your hands. So 3 of 3 commissioners voting in favor of that. Nancy, are you voting in
Yeah,
favor?
one abstention.
1 abstention. You got it. Thank you. And that leaves treasurer, and I move that Thomas fill the treasurer's position,
Second that.
seconded by Jim. And all those in favor? So 3, Nancy,
Yes.
are you acknowledging?
Yes.
3 of
Yes.
3 commissioners in favor. Are you abstaining? 1 abstention for that. So our officers will be, as a block, Michael as chair, Jim as vice chair, Nancy as secretary, Thomas as treasurer. Thank you all so very much for that. I think that was one of the easiest elections of officers I have had in a long time. So thank you. I appreciate that. We do have 2 items, 2 minutes to approve this evening. This is our November and December 2024 minutes. I did distribute those minutes to the commissioners prior to this meeting. And we received feedback from Nancy and Jim, but we did get some corrections of those from Nancy, some typos that were in the transcript. Has everyone been able to review those?
Yes.
Got it. Huh? Yes, you could certainly look at them. Sure, absolutely. We need to approve the minutes as a commission, but they are available online for anybody to look at. But they are the official document of the commission and the official actions of the commission. I move that we approve the minutes as revised,
Second.
Second.
seconded by Jim, and all those in favor, you could acknowledge. So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. You're going to have to keep me on the ball here with this 4 of 4 until I get used to that. Those-
Question, last I looked at the website, the September and October were still not showing up on the website, even though they were approved.
Yes,
Can we just acknowledge that for the record? I'm sure there's some bug
Issue?
in the, yes, a
A
squirrel
bug
in the
or
wood
something?
pile, as my dad would say.
exactly. We will, a squirrel in the woodpile. Okay, got it. That's a good one. We will make sure that those get reposted to the website. Treasurer's report.
Yes, we started December 1st with a balance of $65,294.68. We spent $625 on 2 invoices for meeting minutes, and we ended December 31st, 2024 with $64,669.68 in the bank. Yes.
And
we
do you
also-
have the Q1 financial report? And do
Yes.
you want to just, are you online?
Yes, I'm online. Yeah.
Could you want to share it? I'll stop
Uh,
sharing.
ooh, you want me to start? Let me share this.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can do this. Hold on a second. Share. And there you go. Share. Okay. Can you see that?
In there.
Okay. So we started, let's see here. We had, the only expenses we had for the entire quarter were the 2 invoices the 2 checks I wrote in November, in December, and that was for the 2 invoices that we had from Minute Services LLC. So we ended up with $64,669.68, and that is our ending balance in our checking account.
Do you want to submit that officially?
Yes. I move that we accept this fiscal 2025 quarter 1 quarterly financial report.
I will second that. All those in favor, if you could please raise your hand. Can you stop sharing? Sorry. And Nancy, I'm sorry, I didn't get to see.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Thank you. Gotcha. Okay. So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of the approval of the quarter 1 financial report. Thank you. So that will need to be signed
Yes.
by, it will be distributed electronically. Is that correct? It'll be distributed electronically by Thomas to me, to you, Nancy, and then to Thomas to sign before it is submitted.
Is it,
So
is
we
it a
will-
DocuSign? How do we sign?
It will be a
Please send
DocuSign.
instructions. Thank you.
It will be a DocuSign. So we will send that out and we'll give you a heads up. Sometimes this goes into our spam box
Yeah.
at the ANC. So just letting you know that that may be the case. There is, so last year, the ANCs were allowed for the first time to get debit cards associated with our checking account. In the past, we've had to either if we had services such as our internet service and our PO box, that would have to go on a commissioner's personal credit card, or we would have to write a check for those. And as you all may be very well aware, that not many places online for web hosting takes a check. So it creates a little bit of a challenge for that. In order to add a debit card to the PNC bank account, we have to have a motion on the floor to do that. In order to expedite and make things a little more efficient for us, I would move that we add a debit card to the PNC bank account when we renew the officers on the account.
Second.
Seconded by Nancy. All those in favor? So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. The other item that we have on the agenda this evening for the treasurer's report is the purchase of business cards for the commissioners, so that we have business cards. That would cost approximately, I believe, probably about $35, probably a set of 200 or 250 cards. I would move that we take that balance out of our reserves and put into our existing budget, because I don't think we had that in the budget. Is there a second?
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Can I offer a friendly
Please.
amendment to
Yes.
put in enough that in case somebody goes through 250 cards within the year, that there be a cushion there to get another set?
Absolutely. So we'll just make sure that the commissioners have business cards for the year. Is there a second? Seconded by Thomas. All those in favor? So
Yes.
4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. All right. Terrific. We will now, as we have modified the agenda, we will now hear from Thompson Elementary PTO. Yes, if you could use the microphone, and you have to turn the switch on right on top, right on top.
Hi. Hi. My name's Allison Klein. I am a recent resident to the ANC. I just moved into the Clara Barton. I was living over at, this is not interesting to you guys. Sorry, I'll go through this quickly, at 400 Massachusetts Ave until recently. So if anybody is here from Ward 6, we've just moved out of there. My son is in pre-K 4 at Thompson Elementary. And it's a wonderful school that I think flies under the radar here. It has one of the longest serving principals in DC, Carmen Shepard. She's been there for 12 years. I believe she's on the superintendent's principal advisory council. We are a relatively, she is a long serving principal and a wonderful asset. We are a relatively new PTO. So we have not, like, this is, I think we call this like year 2.5. This is our first year with officers. I am the the fundraising lead. So this is, I guess, part of my purview, we think. But it's Thompson for now. It's a Title I school, which means that a significant percentage of the students are in poverty. About 50%, I believe, maybe a little lower than that, of the students are English learners. So there's many schools in certainly in Ward 2 and in Ward 6 that also serve a high poverty population, but are able to raise quite a bit of money from parents. That is not the case for the most part at Thompson. We have been working as a relatively new PTO to try to raise money as much as we can from the community. And the idea from this grant came when we spoke to Mia Sparkman. She is the International Baccalaureate Coordinator at Thompson. Thompson was one of the very first International Baccalaureate elementary schools in DC. I think the program has been there for about a decade. My day job, I'm an education reporter for a newspaper that's read by school superintendents and teachers and folks like that. And IB is extremely respected. Schools have to work very hard to maintain that distinction. Thompson actually was called out in their Thompson's early childhood elementary program was held up as a global model by the IB program in their recent journal. So they're doing a really good job there of implementing the program, but they just don't have the resources. They have about $1,000 to implement the entire IB program at Thompson, which is crazy. I don't think that includes Ms. Sparkman's salary as the IB coordinator, but it is a small amount. So what we're asking you guys for specifically is money mostly geared for the priority would be for the 5th graders who have a year-long capstone assessment where they research problems in their community. This involves taking field trips, bringing in experts, bringing in professionals, and then they present on that problem and potential solutions in a big culminating event. Typically, the field trip piece of this, the going out in the community piece, it just hasn't been affordable for Thompson on that $1,000. And this grant would make that possible for them to actually go out and experience things. And not only does this make their projects richer, right? But these are 5th graders, right? So this is a chance for them, many of whom are kids growing up in poverty, right? To see professionals in spaces, to engage with them on something that these kids are researching and working to become experts on. And we're hoping that it will, part of this is to build up our community. This is building, we hope, the next generation of community leaders in the ANC. One potential addendum is that because this is coming a little later in the year than we had initially, this is, again, we're brand new PTO, first rodeo on this. We're a little worried we may not be able to spend all the money on the 5th graders and field trips. So Ms. Sparkman was wondering if we could broaden this a bit to supplement other international baccalaureate materials and trips at Thompson, if that is something that the ANC is amenable to. We're also happy, I think there was a question about a budget item for food and refreshments for that special capstone event. we are happy to pay for that as a PTO. That can be our contribution. So scratch that from the budget. Thank you for listening to our request. And to any businesses out there who are on here for a liquor license or something else, if you're looking for somewhere to donate, Thompson PTO, we take in-kind donations as well as cash. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you very much. That's terrific. It's a really great, it sounds like a really great project. Just for our new commissioners, we have not, as a commission, we have not awarded grants in the past that I'm aware of. There was a moratorium for a little while through the Office of ANCs. They developed a centralized application last year. This application was submitted last fall
Yeah, it's October, I believe, maybe September. Yeah.
to the Office of ANC and went into a black hole. And
At the OANC,
Yes.
I'm shocked, utterly
And-
shocked.
Thank Thomas Lee for his advocacy,
Yes.
for, for digging it up and making sure that,
and
Tom is a former Thompson parent, former, right? Both your girls are basis now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They spent lots of great work.
that's great. That's great. And it just reemerged in the last month as it came out of review with many apologies from the Office of ANCs for that. So we apologize for
No,
the
it's okay.
total.
We don't know if we did something, we're still new, we're learning.
We're the same
Yeah.
way with grants. So do you want to carry forward? Yeah, you want to just activate? Sorry.
I move that we issue a grant or approve this grant request for $5,000 to Thompson Parent Teacher Organization. PTO.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Jim. Any discussion that we have?
I just have a question to make sure that we're all set up for success here on reporting requirements and receipts and all of that. Is the capstone event and possibly other materials related to the IB program, that's awesome. Just needs to be kind of presented to us with receipts in a way that we will be able to make sure that, everything gets handled responsibly with the OANC.
Yeah, thank you for that. I've made that clear to Ms. Sparkman. So, she's my point of contact at the school. Thomas knows her well. She's been there for quite some time. Did she teach your kids in 3rd grade or? No.
I believe so.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, she's an amazing educator. And I think she just wants a little bit of the flexibility to spend this not just on field trips, because that had been the main thrust of the grant application, and not necessarily to stick exactly to the budget that we put out, just to have flexibility on it. But all of the money, I promise you, will be spent on IB instruction. I promise you, the school has so much need and such high-flying educators.
One of my many identities, I self-identify as a recovering PTO mom. That's a lifetime status.
It's not Nancy.
I was a PTO mom and president and a bunch of other stuff at Ross Elementary in North DuPont. So
Oh, yeah, we could learn a lot from Ross.
Yes.
yeah,
PTO
yes,
program.
actually, it's another quirky small school, Title I, all of the above, majority English learners. When my kids were little, my kids are in their 30s now, but just a request, perhaps when you have your capstone event, can you please make sure to invite us? I will show up.
Oh, yes. I had actually mentioned that to Ms. Sparkman, and she said, we've never thought to invite the ANC. I'm like, well, they may be giving us money, so we should definitely invite them. So
Well-
yes, we will absolutely do that. You can meet them. You can meet Ms. Shepherd. Anyone else on the call, you're also, well, I'll check. Pending checking with the school, local businesses who are interested in donating to the school via the PTO, because we're sort of the 501c3 conduit that makes it possible to donate to the school, as you probably know, Nancy, as a recovering PTO mom. We are really grateful for any community support. We know that downtown is, working on trying to become more of a place where people want to live and not necessarily just a place where people want to, come in 2 days a week while they're working from home. And we think having a thriving elementary school will only add to that.
Yes.
And all of the players are in place there. Like I said, the excellent principal, they're just they can use some help on, and this isn't what this is. This grant is not a bells and whistles grant, but the PTO can help with bells and whistles, and businesses can too. So anything you can do to help us build spirit would be great. This is really about instruction though. The grant is about instruction.
Awesome. Can I add a friendly amendment to your motion? And that would be move to approve the $5,000 grant for IB and instruction for Thompson.
It has to go to the PTO though,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, to be used for to the
be used for
PTO to
IB
be
and instruction? Okay.
Is that
Or IB and teaching and learning. Do we want to
teaching
keep
and
it
learning?
pretty? Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
teaching and learning.
Yeah.
That's great, and that would include field trips if needed.
Could include field trips,
got it.
include this capstone event. Yeah, that'd be great.
Got it. So it gives you more flexibility.
That's great. That's what
We're
we
just
want.
not allowed to fund food or consumables, if
Yes.
I understand
We aren't,
correctly.
I promise you, no. The
Got it.
PTO can do that. Yeah.
But maybe one of our restaurants could provide. in
Or
kind.
yes, restaurants, please. Yeah, that'd be great.
Is there a second to the amendment?
I second that.
Second to the amendment by Jim. All those in favor, will you please acknowledge or raise your hand?
Thank
Yes.
you.
So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. So we will move forward and we will figure out how to do this through the OANC.
And let me know what you need.
Got it.
Thomas has my email address.
Got it.
I can send it to all of you guys. I just, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank everyone here for your support of Thompson and the Thompson PTO.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate you being here. And thank you for being on the PTO.
Oh, thank you. Education reporter, so felt like I had to do it.
Awesome.
I'm gonna run home to bedtime. But
And if I could just say, it would be great to have some understanding from you as a reporter as to how young people, the school kids, enjoy this type of thing.
experience? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you what I've seen at other schools, but I could write something up if you.
Yeah,
if you
that'd be
want.
kind of neat. I
Yeah.
think.
I will also say that this is all off the record, so.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. It's not gonna happen.
Okay.
If your son is in pre-K, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been treating it like a sprint. I need to.
So we will move forward with
Thank you.
community
Well.
announcements. First up, I have MPD 2. Is Lieutenant Garvin on with us this evening or somebody from MPD 2?
There he is.
I see him there. I'm not sure if Lieutenant Garvin, are you able to join us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Yes, sir.
Let me turn my radio down. I'm starting to watch Commander. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year to
Haven't
you
seen you
too.
since last year. How's how's everything going?
We are doing well.
Outstanding. So as of right now, you know that we're preparing for the inauguration. I did email the ones who I had email addresses to the 2025 presidential inauguration rehearsal parade, where there's going to be, road closures and things of that nature. And I also believe that DDOT also sent something out as well in preparation for this long weekend going into next week. As far as crime goes, we've seen reductions over the last 30 days, especially within our retail theft space. There was a burglary that occurred, in the 500 block of 12th Street. A suspect gained entry through the parking garage using a key fob and a passcode, and stole items out of one of our retail stores. That case is being investigated. I do believe that we're going to close this case. We also had a theft from auto, which was what occurred on December the 15th. An individual left his licensed weapon inside of his vehicle. Upon his return, his glass was broken, and realized that his weapon was no longer there. Um, so that case also is still open as we speak. We ended the year with a total of 313 firearms recovered, in addition to 6,724 rounds of ammunition. And that was also due to our help with our neighboring partners, United States Secret Service, as well as United States Park Police. So we're grateful for that. And this year so far, there's been a total of 5 weapon recoveries. I'll take questions if we have any right now.
That is, I just always am kind of flabbergasted at the amount of firearms that are recovered in the district. Thank you for that service. And I know you and your fellow departments work very closely together. So thank you for that. Are there any questions from the commissioners to MPD2?
Are you
Um,
at liberty to disclose what shop was robbed? I'm just curious.
Uh,
I would say no. I would say probably not. At this
Yeah,
point.
because it's an open case. I would probably prefer not to,
Yeah.
since it is an open case and we believe it was a inside job. So I probably want to kind of keep that close.
Yep, exactly. Thank you. I know that one of the things that related to this weekend is the People's March. Is that
Yes.
right? The People's March. Are you aware of the this I guess activity happening?
You said the People's March.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on Saturday, the 18th. Most of it's in my district, Farragut Square, McPherson Square.
Yes. So I believe that is on our Special Operations Division's radar, and we will have coverage because starting on Friday, we are all fully deployed, all of the department. So we will have areas in that area for that particular protest or march. First Amendment Assembly, sorry.
First Amendment, thank you. I couldn't think what to call it either. I'm sorry. First Amendment Assembly, yes.
Excuse me, but this is Jim speaking. Has that march or the freedom of doing that, did that need to be registered with any?
The question was, I don't know if you heard, the question was, with that occurring, did that need to be permitted at all?
I believe most of our First Amendment assemblies are permitted, but I'm not sure because I do not work in that space or that office.
Since there are sites in National Park Service land, Farragut Square and McPherson Square, the answer has got to be yes to that. There's Park Service permits at the very least.
Okay. Not aware. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the commissioner? Okay, thank you so much, Lieutenant Garvin. And I know this next couple of days are going to be really crazy for you all. So please be safe and thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Schenko. I get another work with you in a whole nother year, so I appreciate it.
Awesome. It's a pleasure. Is anybody from MPD 1 here?
Nicely's here.
Hey, Lieutenant Nicely, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a while. Captain Herbenick's away, so I'll be filling in for him today.
Awesome. It's a pleasure that you're here. Thank you.
Sure. So to touch on crime really quick, over the past 30 days, PSA 101 is what covers 2C or touches 2C. That's everything essentially west of 9th Street, or sorry, correction, east of 9th Street. And over the past 30 days, we're looking at about a 30% reduction over the prior 30 days across all crime. Violent crime categories, we only had 3 robberies. We didn't have any felony assaults. And we saw a significant reduction in the property crime avenue with the theft from autos, which always gives us a problem around the arena. So that reduction was pretty good, especially with the holiday season, the holiday market, everything going on over there. Outside of the crime aspect, one thing coming up this weekend with inauguration, what that's unique to this inauguration is in Chinatown at Capital One Arena, there's going to be a rally with 18,000 people at the arena. So there's going to be a lot of firm road closures starting at midnight Saturday night into Sunday. So if that's going to be more than that profile of road closures is going to be larger and a little more restricted than what we're normally used to for inauguration. So everyone needs to give themselves some extra time if they're planning to move about. And to get some clarity on those road closures, there's a whole website dedicated to it, inauguration.dc.gov, where you'll be able to see the timeline of those closures, what's restricted, because there'll be a wide range of types of restrictions. Some will be firm, nobody passes. Some will be local traffic only. But that stuff right around the arena, I just want to make everyone aware. I believe at midnight, Saturday night into Sunday, even the garages will be shut down completely in that entire corridor, basically between 4th and 9th along FG and H streets. So please take a look at that website. If you plan on doing any traveling or trying to maneuver by vehicle, it's going to be very tough.
Got it. And I know that we do have a couple of residences in that area, and I believe garages exit on I believe it's 6th Street. So they would be restricted at that time earlier than the restriction for the rest of 2C.
Correct. That's my understanding, is that that in the immediate footprint around the arena, at midnight Saturday night going into Sunday, there's going to be a very firm no vehicle traffic in that immediate area. And it'll be a little bit more liberal through the day Sunday, with local access, like things along Massachusetts Avenue, and then obviously things a little west of 9th Street. But if you're doing anything right in that immediate footprint of the arena, it's going to be locked down pretty tightly. There's not going to be any vehicle traffic on Sunday.
Got it. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Lieutenant? Okay. We do have one hand up, and that is from Howard Marks. Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Schenkel. Congratulations on being elected once again as our chairman. It's very exciting news. You've done a fantastic job. We are so thrilled with your performance here at the Residency Gallery Place, our 300-member community, in protecting our interests day in and day out. So, tipping my hat to you.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you also for pointing out the preparations for the inaugural parade and the inaugural swearing in on Monday. We've been fully briefed here at the Residency Gallery Place by the Secret Service through intermediaries and MPD, and so we're in very good shape. We're staying right on top of the situation as it unfolds. My question to Lieutenant Nicely is we've seen along K Street. I've noticed this in the police report starting about a year and a half ago. Quite a number of crimes in the area of 4th and K Street, where K crosses over I-295 or 95 or whatever, where they have that overpass. But those crimes have pretty much been confined to the area east of, say, 4th Street, between 4th and North Capitol. Now, just recently, we're seeing some that are coming in our direction. I noticed just a couple weeks ago, there was some sort of a crime between 6th and 7th on K Street. Very unusual. And I think there was another one also. Could you please comment on what's going on here? Thank you.
Yeah, the crime on K Street, do you know what can you tell me what that was? Do you have any specifics about it? Because I'm not the thing I'm thinking of happened on L Street.
I think it was just someone who was armed. It was an armed robbery, an attempted armed robbery. It was by a juvenile, as almost all of them are. And I suppose it wasn't the severity of it. Of course, no one wants to be held up by gunpoint. That's a pretty scary scenario. But it just was more like the movement over in this direction. The trend, whether this was a one-off or whether that's a trend. That's, I suppose, the better question.
Right. So, to the extent it might be a trend, I guess I have one piece of good news. It is true that that one of the things we've been fighting in something of a surge, a small surge, is that there had been more kids about idle, and the juveniles are committing, a lot of these robberies that we've been talking about lately over the past, 30, 60 days. There was, within the past week, there was an unarmed carjacking that occurred in the 400 block of L, which is pretty close to the area you're talking about too. And that involved 5 juvenile males. That case, what we were actually able to stop them that day that it happened. The complainant couldn't identify them, so there was not an arrest made in the moment, but we were able to get some video to put it together, and there are custody orders being applied for them now. So I guess what I'm getting at is that, yeah, I think there were some juveniles who had too much idle time over the winter break and maybe have been a little bit truant and have been roaming the city. And I'm hoping that the closure that is imminently about to happen with that is going to be impactful. I don't know for sure that those are the same juveniles as the lot that for this incident on K Street, but we tend to know with these types of crimes that once you get the group that's doing it, whether you can tie it to another case or not, you generally close more than just the one case you've made the arrest for, right? So yeah, I think that I don't think that it's an overwhelming trend, but I do think that we are about to have a very good closure that's going to abate that type of activity in that K Street, L Street, closer to Mount Vernon Triangle area where we've been having issues with juveniles. So I'm optimistic that you're not going to see that continue into what we might call a pattern or a trend.
Well, that's certainly good to hear, because obviously we don't have a supermarket in Chinatown. We go shopping generally at Safeway at 5th and L, and also the CVS at 655 K Street. So it's not in our immediate neighborhood, but we travel there by foot. People in our community frequently, almost daily. So thank you. That's reassuring to hear that, Lieutenant. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant, and thank you so much for your work that you're going to do over the next couple of days as well, because I know it's going to be quite intense. So, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Next on our agenda is the Office of the Mayor, Ward 2 Mayor's Liaison, and do I have Ty or Andrea on with us this evening?
How you doing, Chairperson Schenkel?
Hey, how are
Good
you?
evening, everyone. I'm doing well. Just wanted to start off by saying Happy New Year to everyone, and congratulations to all of the newly elected and re-elected commissioners. I'm definitely excited to continue to work alongside you all. For those that may remember me from last year, the Ward 2 manager with the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services, here to identify and address any constituent concerns or issues that you may have. You also may remember that I was solo for the good period of my time within this role, but I'm happy to announce that a few weeks ago, the Ward 2 team has grown a little bit bigger, and we finally have a Ward 2 liaison by the name of Adriana. And I will go ahead and kick it off to her, as she will go ahead and be your point of contact for ANC 2C. And I'll still be in the conversation, but she will definitely own 2C and all things as it relates to the ANC. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to her so that she can formally introduce herself.
Thank you so much. And I apologize for the incorrect name, Adriana.
Yes, no worries. You're all good. Thank you so much. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful evening. Thank you so much, Ty, for that warm welcome. And I'm so happy to see so many of you, a lot of familiar faces I think I saw in a couple of weeks ago, and also a lot of new faces. A little about myself is that I'll be your point of contact, like Ty mentioned, but of course, also you can also email Ty as well if you need to, if anything happens. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to provide some updates and some resources from the Office of the Mayor and things we have coming this month, stuff like this. And I'll share my screen. And if you have any questions later on, please feel free to email me, message me, call me. I have a work cell phone, so I'll be able to respond to any questions or be a resource to you all. So I'll share my screen. And I'll continue having my mic on. Just 1 second, please. Perfect. Can everyone see my screen? I'm
Yes.
seeing some nods. Okay, perfect. Lovely. So I guess before we get started, I just kind of wanted to give some updates regarding the dog incident that we had a couple of weeks ago. And our recent update regarding that from PepCo is that they emailed us and we are in continued conversations with them, trying to find a solution, next steps, stuff like this. But they did say that the investigation is still ongoing, and they will share any information provided to all, included in that email thread that a couple of you guys were on. So as soon as I know more updates, I hear back, I will also update you all. At the moment, it seems like it's still kind of being investigated and they're trying to see what the cause is. So that's one update. And then I'll go down. So just a little bit about myself. I'll be covering 2A, 2C, and 2E. And my information's there. And I'll also put it in the chat so that you guys can all have my email and my phone number. I'll try to go through this quickly, but of course this PowerPoint will be sent to you all as well. So feel free to, respond back to me with any questions. So I think most of you all know about the 311. It's for non-emergency requests. So please remember that if there is a non-emergency, that is the best way to kind of put a request. And if for some reason you're not hearing back or there's no updates or there is an update, but it's not being resolved, you can email me or call me, and I would suggest please remember the request number. That will be very useful to track the request service. Moving on, resources, Alert DC. If you haven't already, I would recommend that everyone, installs in their phone and subscribes to the alertdc.gov. That's really good, to know what's happening in your backyard, to be updated. And so if something's happening, you all will get notified firsthand. Another resource and something that's coming up very soon is the inauguration, as you all know. So there is a couple of resources. On this slide, there is 2 links. And there you can have more information, more detail, but just a brief overview. There's going to be a lot of road closures and a lot of things happening, days leading up to the inauguration. So I will be sending this PowerPoint, but please feel free to take a look at the 2 links and the maps and the days and the times things will be closed. There is going to be metro and bus delays and kind of rerouted. So that'd be really wonderful for you all, especially if you plan to be here this weekend, just to be aware of what's available, what's not, and what might take you a little bit longer if you're commuting somewhere. That's another one. This is another really wonderful resource. So if you are in your home and you see someone that is homeless and with these extreme weathers, there is a number that you can call, and this is kind of like an immediate medical emergency, and people will come out and check on the individual that is homeless and to see if they're okay, especially now that we're in the very cold season. So this is a really good resource to have as well. And they have a specific number designated, and it's 24/7. So feel free to please call this number and get assistance if you need to. Moving on. This is mostly just a reminder, to protect your pipes from the cold. We are in a very cold season. So these are just some bullet points on how to be staying on top of things. So when I provide this to you all, you guys can take a look and kind of take some action if need be. And we'll skip this section. Another resource is if you see something, say something. So if you see something suspicious happening, something that's just it's not going well, or it's, you think something's up, there's a number, or you can also submit a report to the link, see something, say something.dc.gov. And you can also call. But if it is, immediate, if there's a threat, if an emergency, please call 911. Another really wonderful resource is the Camera Control DC. If you have a business, or you're a resident with a camera service, you can connect it with the Camera Connect DC, and you guys can work together, and it's a free subscription. And that's really wonderful for anyone who already has like a camera system in their home. Lovely. Wonderful. There is one announcement. If any of you all know any seniors, and this is all for the DMV area, there is an essay contest, and it's due January 31st, 2025, so in a couple of days. But if you guys happen to know any seniors, I would encourage you all to enter this contest, and you can find more information on the link on this slide as well. One event that we have coming up is this Saturday. It's the MLK Parade. It's the 20th annual MLK Peace Walk and Parade, and the DC mayor will be there. I will be there. So if you want to meet in person, please feel free to stop by. There will be a couple of things happening at the same time. The wonderful thing about this is that it's the first time that it's going to be indoors. So if the weather is something that turns you off, then maybe because if it's indoors, you guys can attend. So I welcome you all to attend. There is a link to register. So they will be checking registration. So please register if you can. Invite your friends, invite your neighbors. It's at 10:30 until 1:30, but you can stop by anytime. And then some other really wonderful information. This is some contact information with our sister agencies, with DC local government agencies that could be a really good point of contact. And they are the ones that work really closely with Ward 2. So I would highly recommend also to have this kind of just as a screenshot if you ever need a point of contact at a specific agency. And I think that's it. If you want to follow us, X would be the best way to stay involved with us and kind of know what we're up to. But yeah, I think that's really it. I'll pass the mic back to Ty. Maybe she has something to say that I may have missed.
Thank you. so very
Thank
much.
you,
Go ahead.
Adriana. Greatly appreciated. Nothing additional to add on to the report. But as always, if there's any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us as we're more than happy to assist you all. And you all are ever in an opportunity of wanting to do a community walk at some point once the weather gets a little bit warmer, we're also open to that too. So definitely looking forward to seeing you all throughout the neighborhoods. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out to us if there's anything that we can assist you with.
Perfect. Thank you both so very much. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the mayor's office?
This is Jim Swart, and I do have a question, and I wouldn't say it's out of the blue, but it may not be one that could be answerable tonight. I'll be more than happy to talk with you about it in the next few days. But this has to do with the Amplified Sound Mitigation Act of 2024. And that's been going through, well, there's a legislative history related to it. And I believe it says that the mayor's response is due or the end of the month on January 23rd. And I'm just wondering on behalf of numerous residents in our areas here, what the status of that will be. And we know that it goes to another level with the federal government, but is that on target to be out of the mayor's office with some
I
approval
appreciate.
or some judgment?
No, I definitely appreciate your question, Commissioner. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. We have made note of that, and we'll go ahead and follow up with our team to give you a more direct, specific answer to that question. I also know that we do have Maddie, a representative from DC Council, on the call as well, that may be able to speak a little bit more to the legislative component to it. But as it relates to the mayor's office, specifically with that question, as mentioned, we've taken note of that, and we'll go ahead and get back to you with a response.
All right, I do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I have a couple things.
Sure. Go ahead, Nancy.
Thank you. First, just to follow up about the really tragic thing with the dogs who were electrocuted on 19th Street, just below M. First of all, Ty, thank you very much for looping me in, because the DuPont commissioners, Alex Marshall and Matt Johnson, were taking the lead on this, but I didn't even know about it until you looped me in. So thank you very much. And I appreciate everybody's response. Kind of my ongoing question is, how was a second incident even possible after the first one this was only a week ago yesterday, was at 4:30 in the afternoon, and Pepco came out and thought that they had shut off the current or whatever the issue was that was creating a live electricity in the salted water that the dogs perished from. They thought they'd cleared it, so the police, opened the block, and then 3 hours later, someone else also walking their dog had this happen. So how is this? I guess we all want to know, how is this possible? I saw, and somebody reported on social media, that there were 2 other incidents near Brookland a couple days later, where the dogs thankfully survived. But the Public Service Commission is on this. So on behalf of the mayor's office, I don't know who's quite the accountability chain for all of this, to make sure that we all get some kind of answer, whether we need to tell people to get their dogs rubber booties in inclement weather like this, or how can we manage this sensibly?
Thank you, Commissioner, for posing your statement around that incident. I wish I had more answers for you all personally, especially for someone who has fur babies. So I know how important having them in your life is. So I definitely have a kind of a personal feeling and tie to it. we're in constant communication with Pepco,
Yeah.
and just trying to receive any updates. But unfortunately, there's not much outside of just it being a thorough ongoing investigation that I have to share. And then on the
I heard,
email,
I heard one reference that they were looking at possible third parties. There may be other conduits under that sidewalk that may, I'm not speculating. All they said was third parties. I've been very, very impressed with Margaret Moskovitz, I believe her name is, at Public Service Commission, and Linda Greenan at Pepco called me personally, and she said she and her entire team are also traumatized,
We have,
obviously, by this, and so they're very committed to getting to the bottom of it. But
we actually
and
have
just
Pepco
to
in
let
the
you,
room.
well, wonderful. And I was just going to add, and
Oh,
just to let you
sorry.
know, Linda
Sorry, Pepco.
has
Well,
Hi,
been.
Pepco.
good evening, commissioners. My name is Lamont Akins, Director of External Affairs for Pepco. And with me, I do have Linda Greenan, who's External Affairs Manager with Pepco. So, Commissioner Groth, thank you for those questions and inquiry. As you did state, and Ty did mention that we are having a full investigation. Right now, that investigation will take up to 60 days, but our leadership at Pepco has told us to do it expeditiously. So hopefully that will be done less than 30 days. Also, once we figure out what those findings are, we will share that with the community. Once we internally understand what happened on that day, we do understand it was such a tragedy. And from our understanding that we believe both dogs may not have lived in the area, but we're trying to get to the bottom of that as well. You mentioned the other two incidents. One incident that happened, I want to say Friday night. Both of those incidents were not Pepco equipment,
Okay.
but we did go out and secure those locations, but those incidents did not involve Pepco equipment, just to let everyone know. So we haven't had any other incidents, and we will knock on wood that we will not have any more this season.
Yeah.
But right now, as I said, we are very serious about the matter. We are appreciative of your involvement, and we will keep the ANC updated once we get a full understanding of what happened.
I appreciate that very much, because it's actually in that exact,
Yes, ma'am.
it's within 10 feet of the boundary, but it is in my district. And also 2B05 and 2B06 are just the other side of M Street. Those commissioners are also very concerned. I attended the DuPont Circle 2B meeting last Wednesday night. And there was the police at that meeting that night that said that Pepco had cleared the scene after the first incident. Is why, because I wanted to know how did you reopen the block to let this happen again? But obviously everybody was operating on the best information that they had at the time.
Correct.
It's just awful. So
Yes. Anything else? Go
Just
ahead.
a question. I'm not aware of something like this happening before.
From my knowledge, we're not aware neither.
Okay.
I think don't quote me on this. This may
Yeah.
be our first time. But like I said, we're going to investigate it to see what was the cause of it and what happened. But also understanding after the first dog was electrocuted, trying to understand what did happen between the first and the second dog as well.
I appreciate that.
Thank
One
you
of
very
the
much.
commissioners from DuPont found citations in New York City that a human was electrocuted in similar circumstances in the winter with salted water on a metal grate or a metal manhole cover.
Yes, we
So-
are aware of those too. We have read those articles. People have sent those to us.
I'm sure they have.
Yes.
Aren't we helpful?
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you so very much for coming out tonight. And hello, how are you? I'm sorry I didn't see you come in.
Michael, I have one more thing for
Yes.
Adriana or Ty
Sure, please.
for Mokers. Just for the record, as far as I know, the Green Court Shelter solicitation for design phase services has not been advertised yet. I've been stalking the website. I have emailed repeatedly Lawrence Davin at DGS and of course David Ross at DHS. So if it's out there, maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. But for the record, they are behind their own timeline. And I'm anxiously awaiting the solicitation for design services.
Thank you for that comment, Commissioner. And just to share a quick update, Lawrence, who was previously with DGS, actually recently transitioned over to DC Council. So
Aha.
we do have a new point of contact and who I was just introduced to today. So if you wouldn't mind, it'd definitely be greatly appreciated if you could just circle back with us on that specific topic, and we'll loop you in with the appropriate contact.
That would be awesome. I just pulled off the point of contact list I was given as a rookie here. There's a lot of learning curves, by the way.
I'm
So-
learning along with you.
Yeah, all the time. So, okay, yes, if you or Adriana could just shoot me the email address of who the new point of contact is at DGS, I'm happy to sweetly pester them also.
Will do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you both. Is there any other questions for the mayor's office? I neglected to ask this after MPD. Was anybody from the Secret Service on with us this evening? Oh, okay. Thank you. That's good. Or bad, I don't know. I hope they weren't on waiting for me. Moving on to the Office of Ward 2 Councilmember Brooke Pinto's office, and we have Maddie on with us this evening.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Maddie.
For those who don't know me, I'm Maddie White. I'm Councilmember Pinto's scheduler. I also have the privilege of giving updates to ANC 2C every month. Just wanted to say a quick welcome to Commissioner Swart and Growth, and good to see Commissioners Lee and Chair Schenkel back in your roles. I will try to keep my updates very brief, as the Ward 2 Education Council is also having their meeting right now, so I'll have to jump over to that shortly after. But I'll start with a brief legislative update. Councilmember Pinto was sworn in for the start of her second full term on January 2nd. She will continue to serve as chairwoman of the council's Committee on the Judiciary and Public Safety. A lot has remained the same, but one agency has been moved under the committee's jurisdiction, which is the Board of Ethics and Government Accountability, also known as BEGA. Freshman council members do not chair committees, so the new Ward 7 council member, Felder, will not chair a committee. However, now sophomore council members, Fruman and Parker, will have their own full committees. So Ward 3 council member Fruman will now chair the Committee on Human Services. This will deal primarily with social supports, homelessness, and libraries. And Ward 5 Councilmember Parker now chairs the Committee on Youth Affairs. This primarily will deal with juvenile justice and rehabilitation issues. Another notable change is that the Department of Parks and Recreation, or DPR, is now under the Committee on Facilities, which is chaired by Ward 4 Councilmember Louis George. The council will have a ad hoc committee hearing on January 28th and vote on February 4th on whether to expel Ward 8 Councilmember Treyon White, who is not chairing a committee at this time. As far as the Committee on the Judiciary and Public Safety is concerned, we ended 2024 with crime down in every category in every police district and the lowest amount of violent crime citywide in over 20 years. So citywide, compared to 2023, violent crime was down 35% and property crime was down 11%. So while the significant reductions in crime are promising, Councilmember Pinto plans to double down on what she has worked on and continue on working in areas that need more focus. In particular, the councilmember will remain focused on prevention, increasing staffing levels at our public safety agencies, and working to merge our two violence interruption programs in the district. We are entering budget and performance oversight season. So last night, the council member hosted her Ward 2 budget forum virtually on Zoom. You can submit requests via email to Akima Benjamin on our staff. I'll post her email in the chat. But great to have all written requests from commissioners and constituents, as the council member will plan to send a public letter to Mayor Bowser that includes her budget priorities for the ward. We also encourage you to send your priorities to your at-large council members. This includes Chairman Mendelson, or to relevant committee chairs for the issues that you care about. So, for example, if you want to see more funding for snow removal, you can contact Councilmember Nadeau, who is the chairperson of the Committee on Public Works and Operations. We also encourage you to submit to the mayor's office per Ty's instructions, and for everyone's awareness, the council will begin performance agency oversight hearings on January 22nd. This will go through March. I'll skip most of the DPW update as 2C doesn't have residential leaf collections, but with more snow coming this week and inauguration Monday, both MPD and DPW have been working around the clock. So we all have to be patient for any delayed collections. And I ask that you continue to make 311 your best friend, submitting all those requests, and then following up with either our office, myself or Brian, or Ty for your service request number so that we can make sure we're following up on those. While we know that snow removal services were not adequate after last week's snowstorm, the council member plans to ask many questions about what went wrong and what can be done better at their upcoming performance oversight hearing in January. To quickly address some commissioner questions throughout the meeting, Commissioner Swart, to answer your question about the amplified sound legislation, it was passed out of the Committee on Public Works, which Councilmember Pinto was a member of. She voted this out of the committee, and then it was voted on by the council on second reading on December 17th. All members voted yes on this legislation, except Councilmember Trayon White voted no, and Councilmember Gray was absent due to his health reasons. It is currently under mayoral review, and we'll see what happens there with the legislation. Another one that's been talked a lot recently, which is not relevant to the ANC because is the Residential Tranquility Emergency Amendment Act. This Councilmember Pinto helped to pass on emergency during the last council period, but it is relevant to residential areas, which doesn't apply here as y'all are not zoned residentially. And then Commissioner Growth, we don't have any more information that you have for the solicitation and design services regarding the proposed Green Court project. But for the record, we are still working to get this information from DGS and DHS, and we want to make sure we have this information so that we can keep everyone informed as possible, identifying these next steps in the process. We know that this remains a priority for ANC2C, and it's a priority for us to gather this information and hopefully be able to share more soon once we know, so that this can go on the record for you and your constituents. Finally, I will be reaching out to each commissioner to schedule a brief one-on-one meeting with Councilmember Pinto in the first few months of the year so that you can go over your priorities at the start of your new term. This will likely be 15-minute virtual blocks back to back with all of our commissioners. So that's all for me tonight. I'd be happy to go over anything again or answer any questions from commissioners or constituents.
Maddie, just a question related to snow removal. One of the issues that I am well aware of now is the bike lane and the area where they have created the islands for pedestrians to cross. I was really surprised that there wasn't a adequate way to clear the entire bike lane. And I'm not sure if whose responsibility it is to clear it, because they kind of cleared it in the middle. But at the end, you had to go through 6 inches of snow. And where all the pedestrians walked, there was no clearing of the islands. Whose responsibility is it to clear those?
DPW. So is there a specific area that you're referring to, Commissioner? That way I can get DPW to try to check it out
Yeah.
now and then maintain it for the future.
Yeah, I noticed it the entire, well, in my area in on the Ninth Street, every one of the cross areas were not addressed, and pedestrians had to sledge through the snow and the muck in order to access that, and nor were the ramps. I was actually
Thank you.
surprised the ramps were not addressed more during this snowstorm.
Okay, I'll make a note.
I'm sorry, Maddie. This is Eloise from downtown DC.
Hey.
And I can attest to that for the ramps and the snow and also the bike lanes. Downtown DC did work consecutively with DPW in cleaning them. We started the night before, as in de-icing and then doing a path because of the snow constant fall. What happens is in between, we have to also work each time the plow comes through.
Yeah.
And plow, we have to go back out and shovel and de-ice. So there were some spots hit or miss that our team also had to do a spot check. And so like now they have cleaned the others because I myself was out there doing the rounds. And then again, like we said, we have to go back out and follow the path of DPW. Once the plow comes through, they would push it back off. So working in conjunction with that and de-icing, even today, and I'll share more also when it's my session to come on. We're also right now working with DPW and Secret Service for the shutdowns, inauguration, and moving cans and other things too. But again, I would be able to handle that and also address that and to ensure on Saturday that we're not facing those issues.
Excellent, thank you.
I'd like to chime in here and amplify Chair Schenkel's comments about the little triangle spaces. Anytime there's a state street coming in at the diagonal, there are going to be those little, and those are never done. The bus stops along the K Street, how there's a traffic island for those bus stops on K Street. Those are never done. As a wheelchair user, that is why I am not in the room tonight, is because I still, however many days this has now been, am still not really able to traverse it. I love the downtown bid and the Golden Triangle bid both. You all do awesome work, and it's much better than it is up in DuPont or in other neighborhoods that are, right around me. But even within the bid shoveling areas, the curb ramps are spotty at best.
Well, I'll ensure that doesn't happen again because we want you to come out. Okay?
Okay.
I'll personally ensure that. And I know Howard will hold me to it.
Yeah, but I'm not just asking for myself. I'm asking for everybody pushing a baby stroller.
Oh, no.
with a rollator. This is a universal access
Right.
issue.
I'm speaking throughout our area, which is our 148 plus blocks. Our 140 plus blocks, I will ensure that they're clean. That's my job.
Yes. It's just that the people actually doing it need to bear that in mind, that you have to not just do the sidewalk and the ramp, but all the way through that snow berm from the plow and all the way through out to where it's clear in the middle of the street.
Okay, so that part I will speak with DPW about, so that from the curb ramp to the sidewalk is where we are actually responsible for. But I understand what you're saying. In the media strip, there is a section right there, usually that separates the two streets. Is that what you're saying? It separates the two?
That's yet another
Okay.
thing. But
Okay,
even at a regular intersection, just a regular two streets at right angles to each other, very often only part of the curb ramp is clear enough for me to sometimes go all the way out and around in traffic. This is just way harder than it needs to be.
Okay, we'll make sure that that it is accessible, and to follow up within that we stay in sync with when the plow comes again, that it is covered.
I would be really, really happy to do a personal roll through any neighborhood anytime with any of your folk. Just
Well,
to
that would be
point
me.
out. That would be you.
Okay.
Awesome. Awesome.
I'll
Email
get
me.
your email address. I'll get your email address and also show you some that we just had them do around the area at K Street 13th and 14th at 12th.
Yeah, I
Well,
happen to live
thank-
at Thomas Circle at 14th and Mass. Just up, but there's just
Thank you. Thank you
very
so much.
frustrating.
Okay.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Maddie? We'll just move forward then.
Yeah, for Maddie, just quickly, thank you for reporting out about Green Court Shelter. Just for the record, thank you very much for your email this morning, reporting that the council member is still in consultation with the executive, I believe is what you said. But my constituents are still waiting for answers from our October 30th meeting, just for the record. Also, the budget roundtable that was last night, I would have really appreciated more than 2 business days notice to think about that and to put things into the hopper.
Absolutely. Point taken. We try to post everything on social media at least 2 full weeks in advance to notify our constituents, but we'll do our ANC emails we normally set up and go to commissioners, and we've been on the delay with notification there. So yes, point taken, and we'll be doing that.
Sorry, I'm not going to do X.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I appreciate you.
I do have,
We have another question. Go ahead.
and Maddie, this is Jim Swart. What we would like to see in the final version, the Amplified Sound Mitigation Act of 2024, we would like to see residents who are in 2C04 and others who are also in the business districts. The residents there, we would love to see this apply to them as well.
For residential tranquility. Okay. I will let the team working on the bill, the permanent version of the bill, know about that and see if they can connect with you on the details there.
Thank you so very, very much.
Of course.
Awesome.
And I know we're moving on, but one cool, fun thing of note is there's a snowplow tracker map. I've been finding it really fun. So if y'all want to take a look at that. All right.
Thank you for
course.
that. Thank you so much, Maddie. Appreciate you. Eloise, we'll have you come up and talk about the bid. Or is Lucas? I think Eloise was going to.
Good
Eloise
good
is doing-
afternoon,
there
everyone.
you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and share my screen.
Sure. Go for
Let me
it.
see. Here we go. You able to see that, right?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so, and thank you all. Thank you all for having me on the call today. As you know, there's a lot going on in the bid. We're out working with DPW and DDOT. I just got a message. Are you still able to see my screen?
We are
Okay.
able to see the screen.
Okay, so just gonna go through the first slide here. Okay, so this is the most recent data we have for December, which gives a listing of our trash collections, as you can see on our rounds of what's been done within our bid zones, and then how many for the pounds that we've collected. And then you can see the state number there, roughly 332 stickers, which is for removal of graffiti. We do try to take pride in that and to ensure that our city is clean, and even more now, but there hasn't been such a big uptake. And then you can see the personal hours in Chinatown for the support here, over 1,900 hours put in to help ensure that Chinatown areas is clean, and working with our safety hub as well. you see the safety team, the rounds that they make. I'm sure you all have actually seen the individuals walking the beat around the Chinatown corridor.
Absolutely.
Okay, and visiting the stores and getting updates of where that information that they bring back to Lucas and I, and we follow up to ensure that everything's safe, be it information that we need to report to the police department or even come out on our own to walk the beat, for the business wellness checks as well. And I wanted to come down to why isn't this okay? To talk a little bit about our functions for operations and our team throughout the holiday market. I'm not sure if any of you got to visit it. Did you
Sure
enjoy
did.
it? Did you like the changes made?
That was great.
Yeah, I thought it was
Okay.
awesome.
All right. And if you guys have any uh ideas of things you think that we can bring to the table for next year, the makers team as well as downtown DC bid would be more than happy to hear what your suggestions. I'm going to go through, like you see, that the activations that we had all simultaneously at the holiday market for F Street, the activations at Anthem Row, and then what we are now, again, like we said, prepping for inauguration, moving bins, recycling cans, cleaning gutters, and ensuring that our streets are safe, clean, and vibrant. With our sweet streepers, the pressure washers, also collecting like our leaf collection. We got it at a point where it's manageable now. Some trees still have a few leaves on it, but we're still working to ensure that that doesn't clog drains or cause accidents within snow and de-icing for black ice, which is another thing that we're working on. We're still salting for that. So then we go to our unhoused community that we still work with, talk to, engage with on a daily basis to ensure their safety as well as the residential and the stakeholders, the buildings as well, their the safety and reporting what we need to report back to for our health department as well as our government agencies who support us. I'm going to go down to the safety team update, the Chinatown focus. Of course, it's been, activated now for over 9 months. So as you see, our FY25 safety corridor grant that we have has been submitted, and then we've actually got it to continue our safety team. And then, of course, the building the strong relationships and then the check-ins that we do on a daily basis. We got the pilot for Chinatown corridor, seeing the impact, and we're rolling out across our entire bid. That kind of concludes our update as in what we're going through now for our the presidential rollout and inauguration. Does anyone have any questions?
Nancy, why don't you go ahead?
I just I love the holiday market. Was just fabulous and easy to navigate in and wonderful. I just had a question. I didn't remember the booths being up on a raised like wooden platform floor. Is that necessary to keep them dry or keep them up off the pavement? It's just for in a wheelchair, you can't really enter a booth.
I'm sorry. Well, we would talk with the owners for the build out to see what could be done to prevent that. But however, it's a little raised due to when it rains or inclement weather that it wouldn't beat up into the booth,
right?
To cause water, which would cause people to slip, and that could be a hazard as well.
Yeah, especially in December, if it's cold at night and then it freezes and you can have, I assume that it was to keep the contents of the booth dry.
Exactly.
I just didn't remember that. And the one that was in DuPont also was the same thing. I just didn't remember there being the inability to actually go into anybody's booth.
Well, we're gonna have to figure that out to see how we could, because it's supposed to be accessible to everyone, and I'm sure that's something. If it's no more than us probably trying to extend and ironing out a little further so that there isn't any wetness. And maybe there could be a possibility for a semi ramp so that you can come through. But I
Right, that
will
may not be practical for that many booths.
I will bring it up for the build out since we do have like somewhat of a wooden structure now
Right,
that's enclosed instead of having tents. So we do have what we call a recap. And because of there's been so many things happening right after that, like we had the ice skate, the glice skate rink at the Building Museum. We had
right.
to build it, break it down. Then we had, Anthem Row and the market. So we're just, and then now inauguration, snow, and a couple of other things. So now we're trying to get in. And I believe next month we're going to have the recap for the market, and we'll see. I'm going to bring that up. I'll make a note to see how that could be done to
By the
be
way,
more
the
user friendly.
Franklin Park was awesome also.
Oh, thank you so much.
Huge fan of what you did. It was beautiful. It was just a lovely place to have. My family was here over the holidays. It was just a lovely thing
Thank
to
you
show
so
off
much.
downtown. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you.
Perfect. Thomas?
Yeah, Louise, this is Thomas Lee. I've
Hi,
got
Thomas.
a few weeks ago, I saw some people doing repair work along 7th Street, basically putting back missing bricks along the sidewalk and
Yes.
whatnot.
Yes.
Was that a downtown bid activity? And is that going to continue? Because I do know there are other, there are many other areas along 7th Street and on 8th Street and in the neighborhood that still need additional work.
Yes. So I can say to you, it's a not physically doing the work for downtown bid, but through the 311 system, downtown bid. Lucas and I have been pushing that as well as Jaren to ensure that those areas are done because we do have regular meetings with Secret Service as well to ensure that, those things for safety and for pedestrians walking and wheelchair as well, that it doesn't cause an issue.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, please keep up the work because I do notice there's still areas that need additional work.
Thank you so much. Pavers and bricks.
Yep. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eloise. We
Okay, I'm gonna
appreciate
stop
you.
sharing my screen now.
We appreciate
If you share any, this is Lucas, by the way. If you share any locations that you see issues, we'll continue to report it. Obviously, it's better to have
More.
continue to input. Yeah, exactly. So if you see it, just send it over to Eloise and I, and we'll make sure that they're registered into 311.
Okay, thank you.
And then if they're really bad, we could escalate them through our channels to DDOT, who's coordinating. They do the work through their contractors, and we help identify their locations that need, that we see and observe having issues.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We will now move forward with local events that impact the community. We have two events that are coming in 2025. The first event on the list is the Marine Corps Marathon, which will be happening October 26, 2025. It will be running through the ANC. And we also have St. Jude's Rock and Roll Half Marathon on Saturday, March 15th, 2025, which will be located in partially in ANC 2C as well. We usually do this as a consent item. Commissioners, do we have any objections to doing this as a consent agenda?
No, I have not.
Hearing none, I would like to move that we send letters of support for both the Marine Corps Marathon and St. Jude's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Oh, no, I'm sorry. St. Jude's Rock and Roll Half Marathon or Hall of Fame, the half marathon, please. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor?
Aye.
So 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. We will get letters of support out to everyone if you're representing the event here. So thank you very much.
Your support, we appreciate it.
I'm sorry?
I said thank you for your support. We appreciate it at the Marine Corps Marathon.
Most definitely. Most definitely. We look forward to, you're with Marine Corps, right?
Correct, yes.
Yes, we look forward to that event. At least I look forward to that event every year. So fantastic.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Next on our agenda is alcoholic beverage and cannabis licensing. We have one establishment this evening, and this is Lucky Danger Beyond or Danger Beyond LLC. The trade name is KATA, and this is at 600 F Street. This is a new retailer's Class C tavern, and I saw Will on
Hi.
here, I believe.
I'm here. I'd like to share my screen real quick, if that's okay.
If you could, please, that'd be great.
Right? Can everyone see?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Happy New Year, first of all, and good evening, Chairperson Schenkel, Commissioner Lee, Commissioner Groth, Commissioner Sword, and all members of ANC 2C. As an aside, real quick, to the lady who presented on behalf of the Thompson Elementary School PTO, we recognize the need, we heard your request, and we're happy to support in any manner to include prepared food. Our chef is around here somewhere, and he'll be on the hook for the promise I just made, but I'll connect with Commissioner Lee offline to get her contact information. I believe it's him who has it. My name is Will DeSantos. I serve as the Chief of Staff and Head of Operations for the Burns Brothers, Inc., and I'm here to request your support for an alcohol license for our next venture. Our company is comprised of 7 different business lines to include an events and activations arm, a talent and culture entity, a marketing and communications company, a talent placement agency that's focused on Africa, a private membership house that's located right here in DC, our second private membership house, which is being constructed right now in Nairobi, Kenya, and our experiential dining venture named Kata, which is what we are here to speak about today. About 2 years ago, I sat before this panel to apply for an alcohol license for our private membership house in DC. This entity comprises the 2nd, 4th, and 5th floors of our building at 600 F Street Northwest, which is directly across from the Capital One Arena, right along the precipice of Chinatown and Penn Quarter. We made a business decision to begin our entity on 1 floor of this building, which was the 2nd floor during the pandemic, and have since expanded to occupy 3 floors of this building. Again, we opened our membership house in 2021 and continue to believe in and invest in the Chinatown Penn Quarter area and are hoping to ingrain ourselves as a community stalwart that drives people and other companies to the area, to our restaurant specifically, and in our shared goal of growth and development. Now, on the 1st floor of this building, we have partnered with Chef Tim Ma, who is a DC-based restaurateur with 7 different concepts in the DMV area. Our shared concept is known as Kata, which we have developed to bring an immersive and experiential dining concept to DC, to Chinatown, to Penn Quarter, that's focused on contemporary Asian fusion, innovative mixology, and experiential delights. The menu will be Asian fusion based, and all of our cocktails will be high-end with an added component that our company is known to deliver for all of our clients, from experiences that we've created with Fortune 10 to Fortune 100 companies in our own building, at the White House, at Audi Field, and in fact, all over the area and the country. Now, just real quick, I want to take you through some slides to show you, what the designs look like. Again, we're at the corner of 600 F Street Northwest in the Oriental Building Association, what's formerly known as the Oriental Building Association building. So I'll just flip through real quick if that's okay with you all, to show you what the interior looks like. The bar design is right up front as you enter through the doors, and that's a head-on look at the bar. Looking from the back of the space to the front of the doors, we've got some banquet seating on the right side, and of course the bar right there to the left. This is what the private dining room looks like. And behind this is the kitchen. In front of this is the main dining room, which I'll get to here in a second, which looks like this. And next, so those are all of those slides. Again, I sit here before you to request your support for our alcohol license. We're set to finish construction over the next 10 days and plan to open our doors on February 11th. We've been in the community for several years and will continue to grow in and proudly serve the community. Thank you, Chairperson Schenkel, and thank you to everyone here. I'll turn it back over to you for any questions.
Terrific. Thank you so very much. And I'm so happy. How is the other, the upstairs areas doing?
It's great. You know, again, we started on the second floor, and because we saw the need and, you know, people wanted what we were offering, we leased 2 additional floors in this building, the 4th and the 5th. So again, we're now on 3 floors. We've got some lawyers in between. So, you know, we haven't taken that floor, but in this same building on the 1st floor is where this restaurant concept is being developed.
That's terrific. And you are, just to recap here, your requested hours, you're requesting Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. and then Monday through Saturday, 12 to 2, with, it looks like consumption going a half hour before that time. You are planning on a sidewalk cafe, it looks like, as well?
We are. So I've started the application, but we have to, I think, as you know, we have to finish our COO, and
Yes.
there's one other component, I can't remember, that I have to insert into the application. We'd like to have 20 seats outside on the sidewalk, if that gets approved as well.
Got it. Got it. And a carry-out delivery endorsement as well. And it looks like there's a capacity of, let me see here, 70 seats inside and 85 total capacity inside. Is
Correct.
what I'm seeing there on the license. Well, this looks very exciting, and another great opportunity for this area. So we welcome you to this area. I believe you probably will need with the protest period ending on February 3rd, are you asking for a stipulated license as well?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Just so that our new commissioners are aware, there are different classes of license. Once a protest period ends, that's the opportunity for community or ANCs to protest an APCA license. The applicant can request that we send a letter of support for a stipulated license, which allows them to start operating before the full license is approved, because that takes a little bit of time between the protest period ending and the establishment being fully up and running in that situation. I'm very excited that you're expanding and you're bringing this new concept here. So I would like to move that we send a letter of support for this applicant and a letter for a stipulated license for Kata.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Lee. Sorry, Nancy, you were behind
Third.
you're a little behind. All those in favor? So I have 4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. So we will get those letters out shortly, and we'll copy you on those letters.
If I may ask,
Sure, please.
and this is Jim Swart, will your 20-seat sidewalk cafe, will that be on F Street or will that be on 6th?
On 6th.
Okay.
So it'd be right across from the fire department on the 6th Street side. 6th Street side.
Yeah, that's good to know. And you don't foresee any issue with the Sydney Harmon Hall?
With the hall next door?
With Sydney Harmon Hall.
Oh, no.
The Shakespeare's, yeah.
No, I don't foresee the issues.
Okay, great.
Terrific.
This is Lucas from the downtown DC. I'm so excited about this opening up. This is exactly what that location needs. It's really going to transition that entire block, which needs it. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for taking a chance on downtown DC. We're so excited.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
And the design looks fantastic. So I can't wait to see it.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate you being here and look forward to it opening on February 11th.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Terrific. Next, we have two sign proposals. Let me just pull those up for us to take a look at. Commissioners, each year, let me see if I can find this. Sorry. First one is, I see that one. Sorry, I'm looking for this design. Well, let's start with the Fuddruckers first, because I have found that design fairly quickly here for us. So Fuddruckers is returning to Chinatown. They are going to be, share here, they're going to be going into the space that was Tom's Watch Bar on at 781 7th Street Northwest. So it's right there at the corner of 7th and H Street Northwest. And the design will be, there we go. I think I'm displaying there. The design will be both a blade sign and a sign across the front in Chinese letters as required by the Chinatown design plans. All signage in the Chinatown district must have Chinese letters associated with the sign. And there are, the Office of Planning requires that the letters be consistent with the other letters of the signs, so that they're the same, if they're on the same level as, whoops, I'm not sure what just happened. Did I just lose my screen? I did. Don't know what just happened there. Sorry. I think I just went offline. I did. Sorry. So that gives us, so this is what the sign looks like. And as you can see underneath, there is the Chinese letters as well. on the blade sign. I can't, for some reason, I can't move my mouse here. I think this looks consistent with the rest of the neighborhood in its design. I don't see any issues with this.
Yeah, no, it's fine, yeah. What are the size requirements? You said that there was like certain size requirements.
If, so the sides of Fuddruckers here has to be the same as the Chinese letters that are, see the,
Oh, I see what you
the sign attached to the
Oh, yeah, I see.
the building.
Got it,
They're
got
the
it.
same size. They're allowed to be smaller if on a blade sign like this, because it's oriented differently. But there's some requirements related to the design. Also, the residents of Gallery Place also weighed in, and they had no objections to this particular signage. So I would move that we send a letter of support for the Fuddruckers in Chinatown, DC sign.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Lee. And all those in favor?
Yes.
4 of 4 commissioners voting in favor of that. Is anybody representing the establishment on with us this evening, by the way? Didn't think so. Let me find the other design, which apologize. I had it in my folder and now I'm searching for it. Oh, clever. Oh, here it is. I am sorry, I can't find this design. Whoops.
It's only sent to you, right?
It may have gone to you. It was from Lee, L-E. I think last name is N-A-N.
I don't think I remember seeing anything. I'll take a look.
I am just. I'm missing it here. Oh, we apologize. I wonder if I stuck it in the wrong folder. Um, Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no, I don't have it, Michael.
This is Frederick. Oh, yeah. I I am sorry, I do not have this sign. I don't know what happened to this. So we will have to table this until our next meeting. I apologize. Is anybody representing Zumo Tai on with us this evening? Okay. Then Nancy, can you still hear us?
Yes,
Okay, just, I see that looks like I'm frozen a little bit. So we will table this matter until our next meeting for Zumo Tai. Sorry about that. The last item we have on our agenda tonight is related to the bottle bill resolution, and is Hannah or someone representing the bottle bill on with us? Okay. I had distributed this afternoon to commissioners the resolution that was prepared by ANC 2A for review, the DuPont, 2B, I'm sorry, the DuPont Circle ANC that I have modified for our purposes. Did folks have the opportunity to look at that?
yes.
So this would be a letter of well, this will be a resolution in support of the bottle bill, which would be in requiring a deposit on recyclable bottles to return to get the deposit back for those bottles. And the resolution is in support of the legislation moving forward in the process. I'm totally open for discussion or comment.
I'm hugely in favor of this. I think it's instructive that people thought the earth would end when we had the plastic bag 5-cent deposit. And it's had good results, and the earth didn't end, and this is awesome. A 10-cent deposit on a plastic or glass bottle that will then be worth something for somebody to pick up and get it back. Great idea. Yes, please.
Yeah. And this will be paid at the purchase, and then you return the bottles or cans for your deposit back. Jim and I were talking that we had experiences in Massachusetts in which this was utilized, and people would, return the cans and get your money back. You get a little coupon that you basically went into the grocery store and was able to redeem that for cash. Comments? Yeah.
Well, I'm a little more neutral, even though I really do support a clean environment. I've seen situations like this. Sometimes we get water through Amazon. There are times where some people go to stores.
Jim, can you speak into the microphone?
Yes, I will.
On Zoom?
Sorry
We can't
about
hear
that.
you.
I was trying to look at the person I was speaking to, but yes, I sure will.
Thank you.
I don't want to create more problems than we currently have. there are any number of condo buildings around that have chutes for recyclables and chutes for rubbish. And there's a major difference, and people do that. What could happen is that if you have a bill like this passed and don't have stores in your area
Right.
to return these things to easily enough,
That'd be problematic.
it would be problematic. And what you might also do is, since there's money in it for people who say, just toss it in the street or toss it into a trash can, it would invite people in to, they're getting 10 cents on the bottle or whatever. I mean, that's an income for someone. But I wouldn't mind personally paying that, but I wouldn't be taking it back to the store. I would be putting that into my recycling chute.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see us give it a little more thought about how it would work within our ANC.
I'm sure there'll be systems for multifamily housing recycler contractors to be able to turn those in to somebody to recoup the deposit to get them recycled. I guess part of your concern is that you mentioned, like, you get a case of water in bottles from Amazon. Is Safeway going to take your Amazon water bottle that they didn't sell? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm sure these are solvable problems.
And certainly I did notice that the stores where people are returning these to, they have to hire people
To deal with it.
to give the money back to the person, and also to take the bottles and store them, stack them, and all that sort of thing. So I can't see that we need to make a decision now. Let's talk about this some, if that's all right.
That is perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, initially I'm in favor of this, but hearing what Jim was saying, and trying to think through the logistics of, being a store owner.
Thomas, I can't hear you either.
Oh, I would just trying to think through the logistics of, what I would do, what I would have to do as a manager of a store, your local Walgreens, your CVS, all of a sudden having to deal with, hundreds of bottles that are worth maybe $10. Is it more trouble than it's worth? I don't have a good answer for that question.
Yeah. And in my experience in Massachusetts, the stores had rooms built that was a recycling room that you deposited the cans in, and it read that it was, purchased and was able to be redeemed for recyclable in the area. So it was so there are definitely logistical things that need to be thought through.
I mean, I envision what might happen is that a company may develop a machine that will, receive these bottles and then issue out dimes to whoever is going to return them. And I guess that is what might end up happening is that, someone will develop a thing that you put on somewhere, and then and then while this machine receives the bottles, it shreds them and in that way it saves space, and the plastic can get recycled, and then they get their pennies, the dimes back.
I've noticed beverage bottles that have either QR codes or barcodes on them that are specific for specific jurisdictions where they are where the deposit can be reclaimed. So it's part of the packaging, I think, in some systems.
Correct.
I don't know. Would we want to table this until we can get one of the bottle bill advocates to answer questions? or
I would support that.
We can certainly do that. So is the,
Michael, let me ask you, for this to pass in our ANC, how many votes do you require, or how many to be, yeah, for this to pass, how many votes would this require?
3.
Well, I mean, I'm in favor of voting in favor of it, knowing that, someone will solve this problem. If they can't solve it, then it won't go very far.
Well,
But just from our ANC, I'm just happy to just push it forward and let someone else solve it. If they want to do it.
but Jim does bring up an excellent point that sometimes our city leaders have great ideas that don't have full implementation and creates significant financial burden on residential buildings, on businesses, et cetera, which he brings up an excellent point. Which I think that maybe we should encourage.
I met someone last summer when I was canvassing for signatures from that was a volunteer with a nonprofit that is advocating specifically for this.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure I can find the email that he sent me.
Yeah.
And to remake that connection to have him come, since none of us are experts at this.
Right. Absolutely.
I will look for that contact. And you have a contact name also
Yes,
attached to the resolution, right?
correct. So I hear to table this matter until we can get somebody representing the group with the bottle bill to discuss some of the questions that we have.
Fair enough.
Does that sit well with you, Jim?
That's fine with me. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen.
Okay, great.
Excellent. So we will table that matter. No, we can just table it until the next meeting. We are at any other items of business before we move to adjournment? Awesome. Our next meeting is on Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. Actually, that's the opening of the grand opening of the Kata, yes, the restaurant at 6 p.m.
Ooh.
Yeah, woo. We will be a hybrid meeting, both online and in person. We are scheduled to meet in 401C, but we did get jostled around this evening because of another group running over. So we'll plan to meet here in the library at that time.
If I could just ask Will a question.
Sure.
Will's
still on? Yep.
Is there the ability? Is there the ability at your restaurant for us to hold a meeting there?
No, the private dining room is in the back and seats about I think it's 20 or 22. I'd have to check with Chef, but yes.
Thank you, Will. We appreciate
Well,
it.
I foresee perhaps an after meeting field trip
Yeah.
on
There you go.
February 11th.
Excellent.
There it is. We're happy to have you.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so very much. I move that we adjourn our meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded. And so we will be adjourned and we will see you all on February 11th. Thank you all so much and have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.